Yeah. Mr. Beckett, welcome to the Granite Zero podcast.
Thank you very much, Mr. Thompson. How you doing?
I'm good, mate. First up, that moustache is the greatest thing I've seen all day.
Wing Commander Beckett, yeah.
Yes, mate.
Yeah, look, I've done it for a couple of years, and I've hated it. To be honest with you,
did have that giant fucking beard, didn't you?
I did have. Yeah. What month are we now? I don't know what's going on. November. Yeah, I suppose first lockdown. Yeah, so March.
First lockdown had the fucking boof.
Last year, I grew the beard. I grew the hair. My wife wasn't here for about 6 months. She was in Australia, so I thought,
fuck it.
Yeah, fuck it.
Don't need to impress anyone, do you? So let it all out, mate.
Let it all out. Was on, and that big geezer was, the big wildling geezer. I can't remember his name now. Tormund Giantsbane, I think it was. He was rocking the long hair, big ginger beard look. So I thought, fuck it, yeah.
Why not, mate?
Why not?
I find that gingers can always grow good beards. It's not fair.
Yeah, and also a lot of people that aren't ginger have ginger faces.
I've got my beard. I say my beard. It's not really a beard. It tries, but doesn't go very far. When it gets to a certain length, it goes up a horrible bright, like Nick Anderson hair color on my face.
Proper ranger, like
yes, mate. Loves it.
No, I don't mind it. I'm a bit multicolored. Joseph and his multicolored body hair. The top of my head's not, I don't know, mousy brown, I suppose, strawberry blonde. I don't know what you'd call it. And then I've got all other colours. My arm hair's blonde. My chest hair's dark.
This is the greatest start to an episode ever. We're just going to talk about body hair all episode.
But thanks, mate. I do feel a bit underdressed. You look snappy, and I look a bit.
Basically,
kind of
I met up with a few of the RAF Regiment Association lads from Kent, and we went and paid our respects, which is what today is all about. I got home and did a few bits and bobs around the house. So I was like, fuck it. I'm going to wear it on the show today.
Yeah, absolutely.
Very rarely get the medals out, so why not?
I know. I dusted mine off earlier. We've got a local. I didn't know what to do today, obviously, with what's going on. I thought, you know what? I was zooming an hour in. I thought, do I go on a little run? And, a lot of, ex-squaddy mates of mine have put on, you can just go for a run and just take a convenient kind of 2-minute break when you get to the local.
I've seen that. Like, I've seen a few people put on there, you don't have to go to the cenotaph, which is true. You don't have to go to a cenotaph to pay your respects. You can pay respects however you fucking want. Yeah,
absolutely. But you know what? I just got to the point where I thought, actually, no, fuck it. I'm actually just going to go to the local memorial. I didn't expect anyone else to be there. And actually, we pulled around the corner about, I don't know, 11:15, I suppose. There's about 20 odd people there, 25 people. Yeah, there's a Pongo officer in his number ones with his gongs on, and loads of people. They had a bugler there.
We had a nice little trumpet player. Bless her. To be fair, she did a good job. But I think they were a bit shocked when they saw us because there's at least a fire team of us. Put it that way. There was. So they had a few old boys turned up from like the parish council and what have you.
Yeah.
They had their reeves, and then round the corner comes us fucking 6 or 7 fucking vets with the blazers on, the hats on, medals on, and we were quite happy to sit on the other side of the road and just fucking pay our respects. They were like, no, come over. We're like, all right. Yeah, front and center. One of the lads bought a wreath as part of the association, which was pretty good. Which was pretty alley, mate.
Yeah, it's good to see. I've got to admit, I was chuffed to see all those people there.
Yeah, same. Like down my street, mate, they've gone all out. I put a post up about it. A bloke with my daughter stood outside. Unfortunately, he was PRR, so wrong flag. But my daughter stood outside his house. He had like a plane flying over his house with poppies coming down it. He had the blacked out soldier. He had loads of stuff, mate. I was like,
oh shit! No, he went to town.
I went fair play. Like I went to the missus. Like, can I do it? She's like, no. I was like, all right. So no, you doing it? Yeah, Christmas lights. Oh, she said that the other day, mate. We've literally just put all the fucking Halloween stuff away because we're trying to make it as nice for the kids as possible. She was like, fancy going up the loft? I was like, what for? She went, the Christmas decks. I went, it's November. At least have a month off of decorating
One
shit.
One of those. Yeah. I know exactly how you feel.
She gets itchy
No, it was
feet,
good.
mate.
It was nice, mate. Really nice to see. I didn't know what to expect. We actually had some coppers drive past as well, because obviously there was a few oldies there. It was mostly like people from the local village, and they were a bit like, oh yeah, I don't know. You know, you could tell a couple of people there were still a bit unsure. And the coppers drove past and kind of slowed down, had a like quick kind of sneaky peek, and then just carried on driving.
Yeah, I think it was one of those where they'll just go, "It is what it is."
Yeah, so we were all socially distant.
Yeah, well, my mother-in-law went, "Are you going down to the local little cenotaph?" I was like, "Yeah, do it every year. I'm not going to change." And she was like, "Oh, but what about this?" I went, "If people can go and protest in London over things, then why can't I go and have 2 minutes?"
That's what I said to my missus. I said, "Listen, if all the other, I won't name specific protests, obviously, for fear of getting in trouble. But if all those other protests can go out and gather in their thousands and thousands,
exactly,
then I can go to my local memorial and pay my respects without a doubt." Yeah, I'm glad I did.
So I take it your little your business thingy is all closed at the minute, shooting and that.
Yeah, I'm almost completely furloughed. So I'm working 1 day a week. Well, yeah, 1 day a week for sure, and then sometimes 2 days a week, depending on what's going on. But we're not doing great, mate. To be honest with you, as I suppose a lot of other people are.
Yeah,
but,
fucking pain in
so
the
I work
ass.
in for those that don't have a clue I am or what I do, I suppose I work in an outdoor activity centre. So our work is totally seasonal. So usually the summer is the time when we make all our money, and then the winters we're just dead as a dodo. So really this year we're kind of staring down the barrel of 18 months, no cash flow really. So
fucking pain in the ass.
Nightmare, absolute nightmare.
Yeah,
but there you go. What can you do?
Yeah, exactly.
Loads of, everyone's stressed, aren't they? Everyone's kind of struggling and wondering what they're going to do and how they're going to get by.
Strange time, mate. It's a strange time. Like, to be fair, my missus she's a hairdresser. She's just closed off her shop. That she rents a chair in, and to be fair to her, she fucking worked her ass off. Like the last 3 days that she had. So she worked properly Monday, Tuesday, and then did a few odds and ends at home on the Wednesday. She like made, I think, 750 quid, I think, in like 2 days, just smashing it out. And then she cut my hair and missed bits. I was like, what are you fucking playing at?
Brilliant. Yeah, it's a nightmare. It's an absolute nightmare, isn't it? I mean, it's probably, to be frank, it's one of those things where I'm just kind of a bit fucking bored of hearing about it now. And
I think everyone is, mate. It's just shit.
There's nothing. What can we do?
Yeah, and exactly, what can you do? And you get certain people. I mentioned it on the last podcast with Neeson, that are trying to make a stand for certain things. Like, I'm all for the gym making their stand, because health and fitness will help with all sorts of fucking illnesses anyway. Everybody knows that.
Yeah.
But there's a bloke down here, and again, he's a hairdresser. He's a barber, not a hairdresser. He's a barber.
Yeah, that's an important distinction.
Yeah, and he was trying to stay open throughout this new lockdown. And he said, "No, I'm not closing. I'm not closing." It's like, well, you are closing because you've been told you've got to close. You're not an essential business.
Yeah.
And I was saying to my missus, I can see his point. He's trying to still make a living. Sure. Everyone's trying to make a living. Yeah. But you're going to get fined a lot of money if you keep it open. It's not going to be worth it.
It's not worth it at all. No, it's not worth it.
In fact, you might see him on Monday. He's going to be on This Morning, Good Morning Britain.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
So he'll be on there. Fucking
his cause.
Emmet or something. His name is Turkish.
Yeah, look, it's like it's an impossible puzzle, isn't it? It's
we get it. Everybody gets it. You want to work, we get it, but you've been told not to.
I know. What do you do? I get almost everybody's perspectives in a way.
Yeah.
There's an argument for everything, isn't there? There's an argument for not locking down. There's an argument for locking down earlier. I get it. It's it's what can you do? Yeah. At the end of the day, everybody thinks, obviously, is going to think that their business is the most important. The gym thing, I totally get it. I mean,
exactly. Selfishly, you would as well. It's like, if I had my own business, I'd be like, well, I need to stay open. It's my business.
Yeah.
Like,
And you look at things like, you look at the mental health toll of this whole thing. I know you've spoken about it a bit before, but with the suicide rates and all that kind of stuff, and there is a lot of people out there that, physical fitness and is so closely tied in with their psychological well-being. It could really. I don't think it's too dramatic and like far out there to say that for some people, and probably potentially quite a lot of people, the gym is a lifesaver.
Like I put a post up the other day that got a bit of heat on it. Which my point wasn't that the gym isn't important. That wasn't my point. I'm going to reiterate that. My point was you can fizz without the gym. That's what I was trying to get at.
Yeah, which I totally agree.
And I think most people got that. There was a couple who were like, no, you need the gym because I'm meathead and I need the gym. It's like, okay, we get it. That's where you like to socialize. Sure. That's fine. But then you can make the argument that, like, people, I said it to Nice as well, like people in my old man's sort of era, they socialize in the pub. Like, if my dad doesn't go to the pub, he's not going to see any of his mates. He doesn't go to the gym. If he's going to do any sort of fizz, he'll go and play golf, but he does that on his own. So it's like
100%.
You can make arguments for all of it, and
of course you can.
And you're right with the mental health things, and as we both know, when you're trapped in a situation, you will go to a dark place, and having social outlets like we're doing now on Zoom and what have you, they do help massively, but the actual social interaction is what a lot of people crave and a lot of people need.
I think it's highlighted a lot of things, hasn't it? This whole period in time, but one of the things it's definitely highlighted is that I suppose reliance that a lot of people have on social interaction. People don't realize how important it is for them until they don't have it anymore. Whether that be, like you said, doesn't have to be the gym or the pub. It could be anything, or seeing family and stuff like that.
A huge thing,
we're social creatures, aren't we?
A huge thing that I found, like I've always thought that I'm all right on my own, which I am normally. I'm all right. Like, I might go down and have a bit of a wobble, what have you. But I've always thought, do you know what? I hate people. I don't want to talk to people. I'll be on my own. But now we've had this lockdown and shit. I'm like, I actually miss like meeting up with the boys and having a fucking pint. Like, I miss just going down. Like, I miss going to the gym and seeing some people in the gym, even if they're not training correctly. And I'm like, oh, fucking cunts. But as much as I think that I don't like people, I actually do. You crave it.
Yeah. I think it's when you can't do something as well, when it's impossible, when it's the option is there, and you're like, well, I could do that if I wanted to, but I don't want to. And you might get together with your mates like once every, once every 3 or 4 weeks, and that's enough. But when you can't do it full stop, that's when you start to think, oh shit, now I need it, and it's not even an option. And the first couple of weeks is all right. Yeah, massively important, mate. Massively important. Definitely. And I think the thing that a lot of people want to do is they want to take a back step, I think, don't they? And they want to kind of isolate themselves a little bit, especially like you say, when when people are going through a shit time and they're struggling a bit, they do want to kind of, because I guess some people feel like they're protecting loved ones and stuff by
that's the main. That's one of the main factors with like depression itself. You do close off and not talk about anything. You do get short, snappy, and sort of distance yourself. You do it almost on purpose, but not realizing you're doing it. The way that you distance yourself, subconsciously distancing and not talking about stuff, and that's a huge fucking thing, mate.
Massive. It's such a complicated issue, isn't it? Luckily,
and even now, like going into a lockdown, even if you are a close family, you're now in fucking all day, every day with like. Luckily for me, I'm technically a key worker, inverted commas. I do fucking security, it's not key worker, but I can go to work, so I've still got that distance where I'm not annoying the missus to the point where she wants to kick me out, and she's not at the point where she's annoying me where I start snapping. You know what I mean? But
I'm just looking at my wife's in the background. I'm just glancing over to there, and he said that, and she just smiled and nodded at me, knowing.
Yeah,
one of those.
Because when you're in each, as much as you love loved one, you like your missus. Fuck, they're annoying. Do you know what I mean?
Listen, but I've just told you she sat there, so I can't respond to that.
Yeah, I know. That's why I'm saying it. No, to be fair, my missus knows. I say to her all the time, like I was like, you're so annoying, but I wouldn't change you one bit. You're fucking annoying.
I think that's the key. That's the key to a relationship, isn't it? I don't know that I'm some kind of guru or expert or anything like that, but
yeah,
you're gonna fucking piss each other off at some point. For sure. Even you know what it's like with your best mates. When you spend you think you spend loads of time with your best mate, and you go on holiday with them or something like that, and then a week or 2 weeks, and by the end of it, you're like, right, I've fucking had enough of you now. I need some time off.
Yeah,
well, and then a week later,
me and Anders did that in Iraq. So we've been best mates ever since basic training, and went to Iraq, and we were literally, because even then, so you've gone through basic training, you're in each other's pockets, then we went on fucking pre-deployment, still in each other's pockets. Went on tour. I remember we were a bit snappy with each other, like having a little lover's tiff. And I went, he came in on in a Wimmick, and he was messing about on the fucking top cover. And I went, I'm gonna hit him with this fucking American football. So I just fucking launched his American football, hit him on the top of the head. And he came over all fucking ginger and angry. Fucking hell, Tom, what are you doing? I went, and he was like, and then it was like, should we just fucking hug it out and just be all right? He was like, yeah. Should we go to the fucking naffy? Yeah, let's do it.
Just you need that. You need that release of tension.
Yeah.
Funny story, actually. I was thinking, bit of a change of subject here, but I was thinking on the car driving back then about basic training. I don't know if you remember. Do you speak to Ben Crickmore anymore?
Yeah.
Because he's from your neck of the woods, isn't he?
He is. He used to be trained by my brother. My brother used to be his PT instructor.
Of course, yeah, because he was into Muay Thai or
Muay Thai and that. And his brother is Top Gun. He's
of course he is, yeah.
He's a Eurofighter pilot. Can you imagine that, right? So what's your brother do? He's a Eurofighter pilot. What do you do? Or Regiment gunner.
I know.
Did he get all the good genes?
Yeah, I know. You're saying, what the fuck are you doing here, mate?
Yeah. He's a good lad, Ben.
Yeah, great bloke. I was good mates with him in basics. We got on like house on fire. I can't remember, was he
went to 2, didn't he?
Yeah, he was on my section. But I remember we just passed out. I was just thinking, for some reason this memory just came. And obviously because you guys are mates and I was mates with him, and then obviously we got our postings after passing out and stuff. So I knew I was going to 15, and I was the only bloke going. So we were sat in Busby's, I guess, and you were stood at the bar, and I was sat with Ben, and then Ben saw you come in, and he went over to you, and you two had obviously spoken about, because I don't know if you'd ask questions like who's this squad coming to 15 or whatever.
Yeah.
And I'd won the recruit trophy, so I was thinking about that moment, which a lot of ex squaddies and stuff talk about now, which is that moment when you pass out and you're like top of the tree, so you think you're the mutts nuts, and you know, kind of like really big bollocks, and then you go onto Squadron and you realise you're right at the bottom of the fucking pile again.
Yeah.
And I remember him going over to you, and you're just about within earshot, and he said something to you like, "Oh, that's Beckett over there. He's going to 15." And you said something along the lines of, not in an horrible way, in like a jokey way. You said something along the lines of, "Oh yeah." Something like, let's see how useful his recruit trophy is when he gets to Squadron. something like those lines. And that was the moment I think it hit me. I was sat there with a pint, just passed out, like proud as punch, thinking, fuck, I've got to start all over again now.
Is that's that little hate? See, I was lucky. So when I went to 15, they literally just basically reformed from being a rapier squadron.
Yeah, of course.
Done their rapier stuff, then they went to Afghan and came back, and then they were literally just a handful of blokes like Simo and Lammy and a couple of the others like Chris Marriott and that was pretty much it. And then a fucking load of us from Mike Teeler and LL Maiden just rocked up, so we didn't have any of that hazing really.
So it was like massive, just everyone was new.
Because we're all just new, so it was like, ooh. And then we get a new crop and we're like, fucking sprogs.
I kind of slipped I feel like I slipped under the radar a little bit being on my own. When I first got the posting, I don't know why it worked out that way, but I was obviously only one posted there. And everyone else, like 6 or 7 lads off the 2, you know, like 8 or 9 lads off to 51 or whatever. And I thought, fuck, I don't, you know, I thought, shit, I'm going on my own. Like, I thought I was, you know, a little bit apprehensive. But I think, to be honest with you, like seeing the new lads come in after me, when there's 5 or 6 of them, they draw a bit more attention. Where it's just me on my own, I just kind of,
you sort of get left alone when you're on your own, because you get, because it's that little thing. If there's a group of them, you're like, right, you guys are doing LAC boxing, or you're fucking.
That's right. Yeah.
You got to do the hanger fucking challenge and stupid shit like that. If you're on your own, they go, well, there's no point in him doing it on his own until the rest of them turn up. So we just leave him alone.
I don't remember any other new lads coming on to Squadron either. Well, I mean, I obviously went snipers fucking pretty early doors.
Oh, you did, didn't you? Yeah, you were there pretty fucking.
I got left alone even more.
Yeah, that fucking snipers just do their own thing, don't they? Brilliant.
Yeah, I mean, that was part of the appeal for me.
Part of the appeal. Just get left alone, which is what everybody wants, because we hate people. So
100%. I was like, fuck, I don't have to fucking speak to people.
I just got stuck on fucking HQ. Nah, I didn't. To be fair, I did. I was on B flight and B flight and A flight, and then dicked with HQ. It's one of those.
You were only on. Was Herrick 17 your first HQ? Your first tour?
Yeah, first and last.
Yeah, I thought you. Yeah, I thought so.
Yeah, I'd put my papers in, and then it was. I said I'd do the last tour, which is why every time there was like a rejig of the sections, and I went, yeah, I'll go on one, and they were like, no, you can't go on one. Why not? Because you're getting out, and you've got a fucking wife and a kid at home. You can't get hurt. It's like, oh, that's the excuse I gave anyway.
Yeah, well, at least they're looking out for you.
Yeah. Well, they tried, didn't they? Fucking. I asked specifically, don't give me my R&R at Christmas, because I've already told the missus I'm not coming home at Christmas. I want to come home midway so that it's in the middle. Yeah, no problem, Tommo. They didn't even give me Christmas. They gave me like the first week of December.
Yeah.
So we'd been out like a few weeks, and then it was like, right, you're going on your R&R. I was like, oh. Now I got to stay here for 6 months in HQ.
Thanks very much.
Getting a headache.
Yeah. Cheers for that. Yeah, I was pretty lucky with mine. That
was a good
end December.
It's pretty decent tour that I thought, apart from obviously the obvious with Robbo and Robbie, but other than that, it was a pretty decent tour, I thought. Well, from my point of view, being sat in a
from my point of view as well, yeah, for sure. It was kind of I mean, look, tours are like what you want to do, so they're exciting and also obviously shit in equal measure, I suppose, aren't they?
Oh yeah. It's one of those though as well, isn't it? You think it's shit at the time. You're like, this is fucking wank. Then you get home and then you relax a little bit. You're like, oh, actually, that was all right. That wasn't bad.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, that's right. I guess the peaks and troughs it's not consistent, is it, at tour? Peaks and troughs, especially I don't know, on a rifle flight. Obviously, I can't speak about what life is like on a rifle flight on a tour, because I never did one. So
you get dicked around a lot.
From our perspective, say again.
You get dicked around a lot.
Yeah,
dicked around.
I mean, to be honest with you, we really had nothing to do with the rifle flights at all, really. So it kind of like really, just peaks and troughs, doesn't it? You know, you go through. Again, it's cliche. A lot of people say it, but you do go through periods of excitement, and then you go through long periods of just absolute nothingness. You know, but there's a simplicity to it, isn't there? You know, you get into a routine and you don't have a lot to think about necessarily.
Yeah, it's like I said in a few episodes back. Like, I think it was when I was with chatting with Al. In amidst all the chaos that you're out there is when you're actually at your most peace. Like, there's moments where you're like, if you're out on patrol or you're doing a night op for snipers, and you're just sitting out and you're looking up, and it's like fucking, you can see every star, and you're like, this is how peaceful is this? And then you think there could be an ID around the corner, but this is peaceful as fuck.
Right. Yeah, absolutely, mate. I couldn't agree more. Yeah, I've got really, really vivid memory of that kind of thing. Yeah. When we were down at the little patrol base down in the south. yeah, and just working with the US Marines there and doing a thing, yeah, where it was like an arrest stop basically, where you know, we had again, I don't want to mention names, but we had a section commander who was quite keen to just basically do everything that we possibly could at all hours of the day and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
So I remember going out with the Americans to this compound and on foot and trying to follow this bloke, and I was man, and I was trying to keep a link between. There's actually Si Baldwin behind me, funnily enough, and I was trying to keep a link between the geezer that was walking at about 5 hours, and we had like the spot maps you get with all the ID fines and stripes and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
It was like it had that many red dots on it. It was like you almost couldn't see.
Yeah, couldn't see the rest of the map.
Aerial thought, you know.
Yeah.
No, exactly. It was fucking nuts, mate. It was like, and I remember walking, and you know, at night, obviously, so you know, your eyes are on stalks, obviously, and there was just fucking ground sign everywhere. And we were walking down this track, and then you know what it's like. You're walking down a track, and then the track carries on going, but there's another track that comes off the side of it and goes for about 10 meters, and then goes back on again. And I'm thinking, oh, fuck's sake, you know.
Yeah.
And then, yeah, like you say, it was just, you know, sweating your bollocks off kind of thing. Anyway, I remember stopping, and exactly that, what you just said there about the stars. I remember stopping, and I'm looking at this bloke in front of me to see when he starts going. I'm looking behind, make sure I can still see Si. And then, like I said, I remember looking up with the old HMMVS on, and it's just like stars like I've never seen.
Yeah, never seen them before like that.
Up. Yeah, and for about 10, 15 seconds, I suppose, I was just fucking like gobsmacked. I was like, fucking hell, that's fucking...
Yeah, I remember it being in a Zulu muster in Kandahar. I think I was on stag, so I was doing the satellite walk around bollocks, where whoever my opper was on the fucking thermal. And I remember walking around, and I was just looking up, going, I've never seen this many fucking stars. This is unreal. And how backwards they all are as well. It's strange, but to them it's normal, isn't it? Just living in a mud hut and what have you. It's fucking
it's impossible for like me and you brought up in a country like this to relate to. I suppose it's totally it's kind of like going back in time in a lot of ways.
Yeah,
isn't it? It's not necessarily that they choose to live like that. It's just that is how people live.
Yeah,
so it's just
it's the way things are, and it's a strange place. Like I mentioned it in my little memoirs that I'm writing, and it was mainly about when I was out in Iraq, and you're driving around in these fucking big tanks and bulldogs, as we were driving in, and armored vehicles, and you're walking around with your LMGs, your fucking rifles, sniper rifles, etc. And the kids are still just running up to you and saying, "Mister," and fucking shaking your hand and excited to see you. And you're like, if I saw someone doing that in like my back garden, I'd be like, what the fuck is going on? Like,
you wouldn't run up to them and shake their hand.
No, you'd be like, and then it's the same thing as well. Like I mentioned when we were out in Kandahar as well, that we drove around in people's fields and stuff and wrecking their crops and that. And then we're like, and then we're annoyed when they send a rocket into the fucking camp, or they put an ID out, and it's like, what would you do if that was your farm and someone's fucking it up? You'd go up to the fucking the local mafia and say, sort them out.
100%. Yeah, there was 100%. Yeah, I can relate to that for sure. I remember doing it. Yeah, I remember doing it op towards the end of that Herrick tour, and there was like I don't know, I can't remember the name of the joint now. Anyway, yeah, similar thing. You know, contact, like a well-organized, kind of like well-planned attack, if you like, on the patrol.
Yeah.
And then in the debrief, finding out that, you know, they're not insurgents, they're not Taliban, they're literally farmers, and 3 or 4 weeks previous, an American vehicle, part of a QRF, I think, had just plowed through one of their fields and smashed one of their outbuildings up, and they were just so, like, you know, pissed off about it that they've just decided to.
Yeah, exactly. You don't blame them, do you? Really?
Totally,
like,
no, totally. So this
when you take yourself out of that situation, you don't blame it. At the time, you're like, those fucking cunts.
Yeah, that's right.
I'm gonna like. It's fucking mad.
It feels like an extreme thing to do, doesn't it? Like an extreme thing. And they don't see it that way. I guess they see it. They've kind of been wronged, so they need to.
Yeah, they've been wronged. Right, we're gonna wrong them back, basically.
Regain their kind of honor. Yeah, their kind of honor, their family honor, all that kind of stuff. It's very complicated, isn't it? It's complex. Yeah, it's difficult to understand.
So
your medals are absolutely gleaming, mate. I just got to say, when you're swiveling on that chair,
they're on shiny,
catching the light, and it's
bright, mate.
Yeah, it is.
It's good. This fucking jacket, I need to get a new one, mate. Have you ever seen the movie fucking, I think it's called Tommy Boy. I can't remember the bloke's name now. And he puts this fucking jacket on. I'll send you the gif, cracks me up. Just the gif of it. Yeah. He puts this jacket on and it's his little mate's jacket. And he puts it on and he can't move. And he goes, I'm a fat man in a little coat. And that's how I feel in this fucking jacket. Because I'm a little bit bigger than I was last year, unfortunately.
Muscle, mate, is it muscle?
That's what I'm going to say. I'm going to say that. I feel like I'm built like Lammy at the minute, but
I've got a video on my laptop of Lammy dancing somewhere at one of the hangar bashes.
Oh, brilliant!
Yeah,
I thought you were going to say you've got the video of Lammy's RAF regiment recruitment video.
No, I like to see it.
A little awkward. Yeah. I think I might have it. I'll send it to you.
No, it's him dancing. All the officers in the background telling him not to take his clothes off because there was children.
Because of his little willy.
Well, I think because there was children there, but
that could be it as well.
Yeah.
Why was he getting naked?
I don't know.
Just because
he was soaking up the adulation of the crowd.
What does that hanger do?
Yeah. I was on the back of the flatbed.
Oh, you were playing, weren't you?
Pretending to play the drums, yeah.
There's me pretending. I was like, you were playing, and you were like, yeah, I played the drums. Oh yeah, the drums. So
just
going back to Bastion. So what was that patrol like with the incident with Robbie? Was it a fucking? Because I was working the radio, and it sounded shit.
Yeah, I'd be interested to hear your take on it, actually, because obviously me and you have never spoken about it. We might have done briefly at the time.
The funny thing is, so I actually was working when Robbo got hit as well.
Oh shit!
Yeah, I got to deal with all the major incidents. Shit.
Yeah, nice. Yeah, no, we heard the. I will talk about. I will answer your question in a minute. We heard the blast from Robbo's one from where we were. We were to the east of Bastion, I suppose, a couple of Ks, and he was kind of down to the south, wasn't he? So we heard the blast, and then there was a delay, and then obviously we heard the chatter over the radio and heard his pin come through and all that kind of stuff, so we knew who it was.
Yeah, that was always that was the hardest thing, and it's the same when I got Robbie's through. Because you get the pin through and you look it up on the list and you're like, fuck. But I was explaining to my brother who he was saying that he was getting anxious listening to me talk about it. Because he was like, oh, so that's your mate. And I went, well, yeah, everybody's my mate though. We're quite to be fair, we were quite a close squadron. Like you had your little bit of banter between the flights, but we were a pretty close net fucking squadron. So
for any
pin, any pin that came through, you're like, that's my fucking mate. That's fucking horrible.
That's right.
But yeah, I remember Robbo's a bit more vivid than Robbie's, but from what I got from Robbie's little accident, it came through really quick and really precise and professional. Like none of you seemed to be flapping at all, which was amazing. Because
I can safely say we weren't.
As a radio operator, you need that because otherwise I have to try and calm you down while you're talking, which is difficult. But the fact that you guys got all the fucking gen to me quickly in the 9-liner so that I could pass that, literally, to be fair, the air desk was literally from me to that chair there. So I can just go, fucking take that. And that's when they can get fucking, I think it was Pedro came out to Robbie, wasn't it?
Was Pedro, yeah. Look, there wasn't any flapping, to be frank. Which, I guess is something that, I guess I hope that doesn't come across as too like blasé and blah blah blah.
I think a lot of people,
there wasn't any flapping.
A lot of people don't realise that we as a regiment, we get a lot of shit, but we are very highly trained. Well, I believe 15 Squadron, I can only talk from my experience with 15. When it comes to medivacs and Medicare and things like that, as much of a pain in the ass as he was, Stoney was brilliant at getting that sort of training in. And doing little fucking stupid drills that used to lick you out when you're walking through the hangar and you go, right, Cat A or fucking Cat 1 or whatever it was. Your leg's been blown off. Self-medicate, and when you're like, fuck, doing those drills and practicing. When you get into the situation, it just kicks in, and then it's like,
it does.
It might sound that you're coming across quite blasé. Yeah, nobody flapped, we got it done. That's probably because you fucking trained at it, and being a small section that the sniper section is, you've all got to be fucking switched on.
Yeah, no, you're totally right. Yeah, that's where again it is cliche because you do hear it a lot these days, don't you? Especially like squad now that lots of squaddies have come out and spoken about their experiences and stuff. But yeah, no, it's 100% true. And that's when you realise, that's when you realise the importance of the training and the importance of the selections and the importance of the whole process, really. Which at the time, if you're younger and it's not something you've been through before and you've not been serving for that long, like you say, you do look at some of those processes and you think either they're outdated or they're unnecessary. Yeah. Or they're just doing it because the instructors are just want to fucking dick you around because they're cunts.
Yeah.
But in reality, like you say, when something like that happens, and nobody wants it to happen, but when something like that does happen, suddenly, kind of afterwards, it clicks. Then and you go, yeah, it totally makes sense now. Yeah,
exactly.
And again, it is cliche, and loads of people fucking say it, but you do just go kind of onto autopilot, and you just do what you've done 5,000 times on wherever you've been training. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, so from our perspective, it was it was smooth, I suppose, which is a weird thing to say, but yeah, there was no kind of flapping. It was a bit of again, I don't know how much to say about it. There was a little bit of tension within the section, prior to that particular op, which didn't affect us in a professional way whatsoever.
No, it wouldn't.
But I guess no. But I guess there was some intelligent questioning, shall we say, of some leadership decisions.
Yeah.
So there was a little bit of that. So it was nice to see, like you say, that had kind of no effect on our kind of professional effectiveness. I guess from our perspective, we were in like a small outhouse. Do you want like a play-by-play?
Yeah, go for it. Go for it, mate.
So we were no, fair enough. So we were in a little outhouse. It was a pumping house of this. So it was kind of like complete. It was a standalone building, but it was part of this family's kind of compound, I guess. So it was like a little mud hut. Size-wise, it was probably no bigger than like a standard kind of lounge, I suppose. It was quite a small little hut. Like a large garden shed, I suppose, made of mud, and it had like a diesel pump in there for irrigating the fields, and all that kind of shit. And it had a window in it that was facing directly south, which just happened to be where we were observing. And directly south, about off the top of my head, it was about 1.2 k's, I suppose, south. There was a petrol station, which wasn't it was just outside our AO, and there was some Danish operating down there in big fucking tanks and stuff, cool as fuck. And we'd been observing this petrol station that we were a bit suspicious of. So basically what would happen is the Danes would push into an area and there'd be a contact. And then all of a sudden, 5 or 6 fucking motorbikes with about 3 or 4 blokes on each motorbike would whiz up to this compound. A bloke would run out and fill them all up with fuel, and then they'd fuck off back down south again. And then all of a sudden, the gunfire would, like 10, 15 minutes later, the gunfire would erupt again. So obviously we had suspicions that it was like a refueling point for insurgents, which it turned out to be. So anyway, so on this particular op, we went in there at night, got into this hut, got into like a bit of observing this what we thought was like a refueling point, and then the Danes were talking to the Americans where we were based, and the Danes had told the Americans they were going to push into this specific area, and we were going to observe and basically see what happened and just gather, do our fucking thing, gather some intelligence, see what happened, try and figure out what exactly the thing was. So on this particular morning, we were sat in there, nothing was really happening. The Danes had pushed into this area that they'd pushed into before first light. No contact, everything was really, really quiet, which is a bit unusual. And then there's a field in front of us. We were observing out this window. It's about, I don't know, probably a foot square, maybe a couple of foot square. And we were looking out into this irrigated field, and there was, I don't know, 10 or 15 people in there working, hoeing and all that kind of stuff. And all of a sudden, like that classic combat indicator, the people in the field just kind of parted. So you'd have like on the left-hand side, they were like kind of like all stood kind of leaning on their picks and shovels and whatever. And then on the right-hand side again, and there was like a clear line, almost like a fucking landing strip between us and the point we were observing, which is a bit weird. Yeah. So anyway, so, recorded all that kind of stuff. And then funnily enough, Robbie was observing actually, and I was fucking sound asleep in the back of this hut because I'd just come off. And all of a sudden, a fucking round hit the window, the top of the window frame, which like woke everyone up. Sorry, and nobody really registered it at first. We would kind of just be like, "What the fuck was that?" And then I don't know, 3 or 4 seconds later, another 2 or 3 rounds hit the window, like around the window frame. So it's fucking lucky, really, and it's funny because Robbie was on obs as well. But it's fucking lucky that this guy wasn't a bit fucking better at his job, I suppose, because if he'd managed to get around through that window, then there's a good chance he would have fucking whacked Robbie straight away. So Robbie was obviously sitting back from the window 2 or 3 meters, I suppose, in the trap shadow. And 2 or 3 rounds. So the first round kind of hit from memory. The first round kind of hit the top of the window, and then 2 more kind of hit just kind of like the wall around the window. So bang, bang. And then obviously we're then all fucking scrambling to, fucking gear up for whatever was about to happen next. So, so kind of sat tight. Jimmy sent obviously a contact report. That was probably the first.
Yeah, we had the contact.
You probably had with us.
Yeah.
I don't know if you remember that. And then.
Of course I do.
Yeah. So obviously sent a contact report. And then obviously we're getting the maps out and we're getting the fucking aerial FOTs out. I'm trying to kind of pinpoint possible firing points, where the skis kind of having a pop at us from. And funnily enough, actually, in the debrief, we didn't notice it at the time. Well, we did notice it. Or I noticed it, and Chris Clancy, I think, noticed it. But there was a compound behind us, and they chucked a kite. They tied a kite to one of their compound walls and chucked it up, like really early in the morning.
Oh, motherfuckers.
And we kind of saw it and registered it, but almost thought nothing of it. And it kind of transpired later on down the line that this geezer, this whatever you want to call him, this sharpshooter or whoever he was, had like requested this, or the locals had put this kite up to give him like a wind gauge, all this kind of stuff.
Very clever.
Anyway, that's what they reckoned.
Pretty clever, but obviously a pretty shit shot. So,
well, yeah,
if it was the other way around, you'd taken him out, wouldn't you, mate? Right in the face.
100%. It's not even a question.
not even a real question, but
I'm not going to answer. So we're sat in there. At that point we're kind of like snookered a little bit, I suppose, in a way. It's kind of worst case scenario that for a sniper section in an observation post to be compromised in that way. We were snookered. So then straight away you kind of your plan for the day goes out the window and you start thinking about how you're going to deal with the current situation.
Yeah.
There was a compound to our right, which would have been west, I suppose, and there was a gap between the little compound we were in and this other compound wall that was going to provide us cover. So Si Baldwin actually it was that suggested that he take his fire team and kind of almost like flank right to almost give like a different perspective to try and PID the firing point basically.
Yeah.
Because straight away, obviously, our thinking was if we can PID the firing point, then we can fucking send some rounds back in the opposite direction.
Yeah.
But before we knew where he was, there was really kind of no point in us just, opening up.
Yeah.
Like potentially some other countries that we work with quite closely over there might have done, just throw 500 tons of
just throw that one out there.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm not going to specify who. But yeah. So that's what we decided to do. There was a bit of a like conflab, a bit of a chat between us all. Cause that's the joy about being on a sniper section. It's generally quite kind of democratic, although obviously the commander has the last say. But you chat about what you think the best options are.
Yeah.
It was decided that was the best thing to do. We'd called the QRF at that point, so we knew that there was going to be some kind of either Americans or British people kind of like blasting over the hill in minutes view. So we knew that we kind of had that cover there. But we were desperate to try and PID this guy because it wasn't the first time that we'd been in contact with what we suspected was probably the same bloke or the same couple of blokes. So that's what Simon did. So we chucked some smoke out to cover the gap between these two compounds, and then Simon took his fire team, which was himself and Robbie and Scout Walker, who was stood in for someone else who was on R&R. And they obviously covered that gap. They just sprinted across that gap in intervals, 5-second intervals, I think. And then they kind of sprinted down the back of this compound that was offering them cover. And then they turned left and ran down the side of the compound between, like in an alleyway between these two compounds.
Yeah.
And as they did, like unbeknown to them, the geezer who was firing at us had eyes on them then. So he was firing rounds down the alleyway towards them. So Robbie recalls seeing rounds pinging off the top of the compound walls. I'm pretty sure it was Robbie. It might have been Si that told me, but yeah. Anyway, recalls rounds obviously. So obviously, as they're running around the side of this compound, we're in the outhouse still, and we can hear rounds again coming towards us, but not directly towards us. So we figured, right, they must be firing on Si and his fire team. So there's a gap in the wall where somebody had smashed a hole in the wall in the past or something. I don't know, probably Americans in there, one of their Hummers or I don't know. And so they run down the side of this compound again. I'm bashing the Yanks today. I don't know why. I love them.
Yankee bashing, mate.
I know. So they're running down the side of this compound. Scouts Walker jumps in. Si Baldwin jumps in. And then Robbie's the last one to jump in. And literally, by the sounds of it, as he's jumping in the hole in the compound wall, a round ricochets off the deck and hits him like square in the gut. So where
treat
obviously
yourself.
I know, yeah, have some of that. So obviously where the Osprey, for I guess people listening that don't know about the Osprey body armor, it kind of sits just over your belt line, doesn't it? So it kind of covers you down to your cock and balls, I suppose. And the round has gone above his belt line. So they reckon that as he's running, the Osprey's like bouncing up and down,
yeah.
And the timing has just been such that the fucking Osprey's bounced up, and as the Osprey's bounced up, this round's obviously ricocheted off the ground, I think, and into his stomach, just underneath his Osprey. So the body armor.
That's unlucky, that, isn't it?
Square root of fuck all for him.
Yeah, that's fuck. How unlucky is that?
I know. But at the same time, the fact that it ricocheted is lucky.
Yeah. That's
He was telling us that the Roll 3 staff were saying, obviously, the fact that it ricocheted, it took a lot of the fucking heat.
Yeah, the heat out of the round. Yeah.
Yeah. Otherwise, it might have fucking done a bit more damage, because I think it got Robbie's obviously in a much better position to tell you. But from what I remember, his kind of abdominal wall, his muscles like stopped the round. It kind of went in and kind of.
It's all those sit-ups he's been doing.
I know, that's what
massive,
he
mate.
As he said, it's his rock hard abs that he was talking about.
He's a fucking good lad, Robbie.
Oh, mate, I should contact him more often. It's one of those things, you speak to people periodically, and
that's always the thing, isn't it? I say it all the time. Like, to be fair, I've been better with with Nick, obviously my best mate. But we went a few months without speaking, and I was like, I've got to. Because he's a paramedic now, and I'm like, he's going to be fucking.
Oh, is he?
Yeah, I was like, he's going to be shit. He's going to be in shit state. He's going to be knackered. He's going to have all these fucking people dying around him. through this pandemic. I went, I need to fucking, and then, yeah, to be fair, we spoke a couple of weeks back and we literally were on FaceTime for about 2 hours. I was at work and he was like, "You're not busy?" I went, "No, I'm at work." "You're not busy at work?" "Never."
You probably think he's probably non-stop, I suppose. Yeah.
Yeah, he is. He's like, "I've done a fucking 16-hour day." I'm like, "Well, I'm on 12 hours, but I usually just watch my phone and drive around." But
yeah, only one of those 12.
I remember getting the call through. It's like,
yeah, I'm interested.
Whatever, I can't remember what call sign you were. It's 9 something, wasn't it?
Granite 9-1 Charlie.
There you go. It was along those lines, and it was like contact wait out, obviously first up, and then it was stand by for 9-liner, and then you're like, oh fuck. It's like,
yeah,
you don't say it out loud, but I would then have to repeat it to the watchkeeper, who I hope he was listening. I'm sure he was. It's like, we got 9-liner casualty, like boom, get it all smashed out, hand it to the next table. What you find, and it's the most, I dealt with it quite well because I didn't take any shit when I was in the seat. But the C-Jock or J-Doc or whatever you want to call it would turn into Flapcon fucking 50. Like, all the big wigs would come in because
really?
and it's like, why are you in here? You are not helping me any easier to get this fucking gen out.
What are you offering to?
Yeah, exactly. At one point, I'm pretty sure I told the wing commander to get out because he was like hovering around me. I had Sergeant Brown hovering around me. I'm like, why are you hovering around me? I need to get this information. Because usually I'd have it on the speaker, but if there was a contact, rocket attack, or anything like that, I'd put my headset on so I can hear just the radio, and then I can pass it back.
Yeah.
But fucking hell, Flapcon, mate, like you could feel it taking off, and it's like, you guys are flapping, and you're not even there. You're not helping me.
Yeah,
you're not helping me one little bit to get this information out, because if you're flapping, it's going to make me get fucking angry, and then I can't fucking talk on the radio because you've got to stay fucking clear and calm and precise and get the gen out. And so many times, mate, that I'd be giving proper information out and someone would butt in over the radio. You may have heard a few times, like one that sticks out in my mind was when we got the one of the first rocket attacks that we had, and I think it was before we started handing over, and I was in the hot seat. It was coming towards the end of my shift as well, so I was like getting ready to go home, and then it was woo, oh cunt. So I was giving out all the fucking the poi and the poo and all that, giving all the decent gen out, getting grids out. I was fucking smashing it, mate. It was Flapcon fucking a million by that point, all the big wigs in again. And I remember a sergeant of B Flight, who shall not be named, put it this way, he likes to go out and have a tan. We'll just say that. Came over and he was like, "Hello, Granite Zero. This is Granite 20 Bravo. Radio check." It's like, "Why are you giving me a radio check now? Why are you doing it now?" And I was like, I think my words were, "Can you please limit the amount of bone radio checks? I'm dealing with a fucking rocket attack."
Yeah.
He stormed into the C-Jock, tried to have a go at me. He was like, "Who do you think you are? I'm a fucking sergeant." And then I had Terry Stevenson behind me. And he was like, who are you talking to? And he was like, "I'm talking to him." And he was like, "You're not talking to my signaller," because he did exactly the right thing. He was like, while he's in that seat, he's got the power of the wing commander. And I was like, fucking right. Don't mess with Granite Zero. You don't fuck about.
Yeah, that's good. But that's how it should be. That's how it should be. Especially, it's not like you're throwing your weight around for no reason.
Yeah, mate. Tell you what, it was actually one of the hardest jobs I did, was doing that. Yeah, most of the time it was literally stand by for daily down rep. Boring. Stand by for like weather report or whatever the fuck. But when there was important, annoyingly, whenever there was something going on, Robbie's incident, Robbo's incident, rocket attacks, and things like that. I happened to be there, which was annoying, but I think it brought a lot out of me in a different way. Like,
yeah,
it was one of those like, oh, I'm actually good at this.
yeah,
As much as I hated being a signaller, hated it. Like, it was a bit of the bane of my life when I was, especially when I was on A flight and I was the flight signaller and I had to deal with all the radio kit. And people would snap antennas and fucking all sorts.
Yeah,
But,
yeah. I bet you, if you hadn't been in that seat when those things happened, you might find that you felt the total opposite. You might feel like you weren't part of it, and I guess being part of it, it's not pleasant for you, obviously, like for reasons we spoke about before, when the ping comes through and you get that sinking
fucking
feeling.
horrible, mate. It is horrible, but
at the same time,
like we said earlier as well, it's as horrible as it was getting these pins through. I knew that if I wasn't professional and got it done the way I've been trained to do with all the different pre-deployment exercises, then the air desk wouldn't have been able to get Pedro or Mert out quick enough, and it could have all gone fucking uber wrong. Luckily, it didn't.
Yeah.
But
no,
I don't know what happened with you boys on the section after the contacts and what have you. Was there any trim or anything like that done with you guys or not? Was it just one of those? Just get on with it.
No. It was probably a mixture of the two, I'd say. We were lucky in the respect that we had H. Harrison as our boss, obviously.
Yeah.
He was kind of our. So he was, and he was spot on. He was absolutely fucking mega. I got a lot of time and respect for him. He's good. He was just a really good fucking boss, mate. To be frank, he didn't take shit, so he was quite kind of straight to the point.
Yeah.
But at the same time, he was definitely he had our backs basically. You could tell that he always had the sniper's kind of best interests at heart, and he always kind of looked out for us. So so there was obviously chats with him. There was obviously a big debrief after it happened. So we got dragged back from the patrol base, and then obviously sat in a room and had a big debrief about it, what happened, blah 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 blah. You know how it goes. And then once all the big wigs kind of left the room after the debrief, the ops officer, the wing commander was sitting on it, I think. Once they'd all fucked off, then obviously we could sit there and have a chat with H. And then that's when, he was, just making sure we were okay, asking us questions. And I think we got, from memory, I think we actually got a day or maybe 2 days downtime after it as well, which was obviously a bit of a fucking bonus.
Yeah, as a Billy.
So we were fucking, to be fair, looking back, actually kind of well looked after. And then I think there's always there's an element of trust there, I suppose, from H's point of view. He knew that, we're all fucking mature blokes.
Yeah.
And we'd look out for each other kind of thing. And we'd always report back if there was something not right.
Yeah.
And you know what it's like. So he goes to each individual person and says, yeah, keep an eye on this bloke, keep an eye on that bloke. And then he'll go to those blokes and he'll say, keep an eye on him, keep an eye on him. So, everyone was just kind of looking out for each other. I remember actually, Simon was fucking devastated for a little period afterwards.
Yeah.
Because there was a bit of, I think there was a bit of blame there. I think it's probably not unfair to say there wasn't anything blamed. I think he felt that because it was almost like his decision as the section 2IC to go round to the right and try and ID this. So the movement was his idea. But at the same time, I think that was before anyone kind of knew Robbie's status. So of course, that's the other thing. You don't, when man down comes over, and you're not necessarily in the room with that person or in the compound or whatever, straight away you don't know. That could mean anything.
Yeah, exactly.
He could have fucking tripped on a fucking brick on his way through the. I don't know. It could be a really minor injury.
Yeah, he could have got through the hole, rolled his ankle, and snapped his ligaments or something.
That's right. Walk. Or he could have fucking or take him onto the face and be fucking To be frank. So you don't know. So when that man down comes over, obviously straight away you're like, you know, your mind's obviously working at a million miles an hour, and you're thinking, fuck, you know, what's happened here? But then it's obviously at the same time, you know, you're still in that situation, so you can't sit there and ponder what's happened. You can't sit there and think, oh fuck, I wonder what's happening.
No, you can't take that
you can't
condor
afford
moment.
your mind to be, you can't afford for your mind to be somewhere else, can you? So I remember, I've digressed a bit there, but in answer to your question, we there was a little bit of trim, but not masses. And then we were back out on the ground. I think maybe 24 hours, maybe 40 hours later.
Yeah.
And then it's a tough one. There's part of you that, you know, one of your mates has been hurt, so those emotions kind of start ticking over. Then it's
one of those, isn't it? Because at the end of the day, you're a gunner, or you're a soldier, you're whatever, and he's your mate, but you've still got your job to do. You've still got to go out and crack on. It's not like you can have. It's not like you can have that compassionate leave like you'd have at home.
100%.
And
right.
It's more. It would be more towards the end of the tour, the coming home, the decompression bit, which is when they probably should have taken you guys aside and gone, are you guys actually all right? You've been through quite a shit tour. In that set, after that sort of thing, a good tour, but also you had that shit, that big shit, where your mate got shot.
Even you saying it there, like I think to myself, oh fuck. I mean, when you put it that way, I mean, we didn't obviously, we got the same trim training on when we came out of theatre as everyone else, I suppose. You know, we just got kind of, there was no specific, there wasn't any targeted trim training, if you like. Which, you know, like, I don't know if the blokes in Robbo's wagon, I don't know whether they were in the same boat.
I haven't actually spoken to him. I spoke to Robbo, and obviously I've had Robbo on the show, and he doesn't even remember it. So he's like, which is why he's like, well, I'm all right because I don't remember it. But it's the others, and I found, like, I didn't even realize that it affected me, both Robbie and Robbo. Like, dealing with it over the radio, nobody actually said to me afterwards. I think Terry actually told me to go and have, I think I had like 10 minutes to myself, like outside, just for like to calm myself down. I was fucking, adrenaline was going through the roof for both things. But afterwards, it's like, I don't know if I put it on myself as well, where I was like, just a signaler, mate, just get on with it. But it wasn't until I got home and speaking with Kate and my brother and things like that later on, this is not even when I was still serving, that I've gone, hang on a minute, that was a bit extreme. That was
mate, to be frank, and I say this, you know, it's different. I'm not saying it's easier or harder or whatever.
No, of course.
In your position, you're not there, and that probably doesn't help. That probably potentially makes things slightly harder for you.
It does,
because
I found, like, when I heard that, especially with Robbo, because you hear it, you want to get it all done, but at the same time, you're like, I want to go and fucking help, but I can't. The way I'm helping is passing the gen on. But then you feel like, I'm not really doing much. There's people out there that are like putting the tourniquets on and sorting him out and getting him ready.
That's right. You literally want to be,
And then you put that sort of stress on yourself, and it's mad, mate. It is. And I think now that I'm out and a lot of the other lads are out and we're talking about it more, is a good thing. I think that's because you tend to only talk about the good things with people, not so much the situations like with Robbie and things like that. Unless you're obviously talking with Robbie or the other sniper section, you might bring it up. Do you remember when this happened? Blah, blah, blah. But it's usually like, do you remember this time when we got on patrol, like with Neeson? Do you remember being on patrol, mate? You tried to jump over the fucking hole and nearly fell down it. And And he's like, yeah, I remember that. Or when fucking I'm talking with like Shipper, and he same patrol tried to jump over something and fucking almost castrated himself. Fucking those sort of things that come up, or when I've like towards the end of CAF when it was really pissing down the rain, and it was like a Benny Hill sketch when we're trying to fucking go out on the ground and we're just slipping over constantly. Like you take one step and you're on your fucking ass. And you're like, this is a joke. If anyone's actually watching this is a joke. But like you very rarely sit there and discuss like the contacts, and unless it was not that contact's a good thing, but unless it's a good contact, right, where you're like, fucking that was fun. Like
exactly right. Yeah, no, you're right. You're 100%. But the detrimental effects it has on people, you don't tend to talk about that kind of thing. Yeah, generally. You're right, 100%. Because I guess it's not it's not, sometimes it's difficult to talk about, so people will avoid it because they
that is a huge thing. And obviously with a certain person that we were both good mates with, you more so yourself on the sniper section with Si, like I put a lot of shit on myself for a little bit. Like it was like, could I have done more to him? Like, could I have reached out to him more? Like, because we were mates at the end of the day, and you don't sort of think about those sort of things.
Isn't it? No, you don't. It's natural. It's as much as I was just thinking, like as you were talking then, it's before about the fact that we don't talk about these things very often. As tight knit as you are, like you say, especially on a smaller section, I suppose, of blokes, or on a flight or whatever, as tight as you are, there's also that element of you want to be strong for yourself, because you don't want to lose face. That's obviously a big one that people talk about.
That is a big one, mate. Yeah.
And also, I think in a way, because you kind of almost want to be strong for your mate as well.
For your muckers, like it's like,
if you seem weak, you feel like you're taking up their energy.
Yeah,
kind of thing.
And it's a massive stigma, and it still is. And you have the buddy checks, but it's one of those things though. Like if I was still on a squadron and someone said, "Tommo, you're right, mate," you go, "Yeah, I'm all right."
That's right.
But like inside, you're probably going, "I'm fucking not all right here. This is something's not right with me," and it's just it is.
You don't want to be a burden, do you? You don't want to be a burden, and you don't.
And especially with our regiment, for example, because a lot of people assume we don't do much, or assume we haven't seen things that other people have seen. It's like, well, there's nothing wrong with you, mate. Like I had when I first brought out the podcast, which later on I've had an apology for, which was nice. But
nice.
A lot of the time, people assume stuff. Like it's like when I first started the podcast, I got a lot of shit from certain people because I mentioned Si on the show, and it was like,
really?
Yeah, it was like, how dare you speak about it? It was like, well, someone's got to speak about it.
Really?
Yeah.
That's interesting.
And
I didn't know that.
Yeah, I got quite a bit of. It was like how it wasn't even. I think he was a close mate of Si's, because Si was quite a popular guy in the squadron. So
yeah.
It was like, how dare you speak? I was like, hang on a minute. He was my mate as well. We've all lost a mate.
Yeah, you're not speaking ill of somebody.
I wasn't. No. I would definitely would never speak ill of Si.
No. There's nothing bad to say about him, but I think it's vital that vital that people speak about.
I agree, mate, 100%. And
vital.
It's one of those as well. Like I sort of think every now and then, like if I had this platform now, or back then, should I say, when Si was going through his dark times, and I reached out to him and had him on and talk about his fucking whatever's going on, his music, that sort of thing, that may have stopped a certain situation that did happen. But obviously that.
I don't think. Yeah, I don't.
But
I get what I get.
But it's like now, for example, now I have it, and someone may be listening and going, "Oh, fucking hell." And that may be listening. It's not like I have a huge Joe Rogan following or anything, but
No, I get what you're saying, mate. It doesn't have, yeah, like you say, I get what you're saying. I totally agree with you, and I think it's natural to have those kind of thoughts. Obviously, I was exactly the same. All of his close mates, I'd imagine, were in exactly the same boat. You know, you think just straight away there's that element of self-blame. You think to yourself, you know, fuck, this guy's, you know, and again, it sounds cliche, but this guy's as good as a fucking brother.
Yeah.
And I feel like I've
you get that moment where you think that you've let them down. Yeah. Because my brother's the same.
You think
my brother's my actual brother is the same. He lost a very close friend of his, Alex, who took his own life. And basically my brother was sort of describing it to him. He spoke to him that it was that night. My brother was talking to him and he said to him, if you ever need anything, just fuck it. Doesn't matter what time, phone me. And he was like, yeah. And my brother was saying that night he just didn't have enough alcohol for him to pass out and go to sleep. And he just fucking did it. And it's like, fuck. But
that's, I mean, that's a good example of, you know, of how, unfortunately, sometimes in those situations, you can't do anything, and you would not have been able to do anything. So, you know, there's no point beating yourself up and filling yourself with those kind of thoughts, when in reality, like, you know, if somebody's in that much of a hole and they want to do that kind of thing, I guess you got to remember as well, another point is, you know, generally people that do commit suicide, obviously they do it because they want to stop the suffering. So they're doing it because they want to stop what's going on. Look, it's fucking tragic, isn't it? And it's a hard situation for everyone.
I think it's quite a pertinent point today, obviously being Remembrance, to remember the gunners like Si, because he was a fucking top lad. He fucking really was.
Yeah.
And he had obviously a lot of issues. He lost one of his best mates in the avalanche, which is another gunner, Mo. So another one to remember. Another top lad, fucking taken too soon. But it's just, and as harsh and as bad as it sounds, it is life. At the end of the day, people do things like that and just go up to the reorg upstairs. But he was a fucking top lad, and we all miss him, and I'm sure you miss him fucking shitloads as well.
Mate, I think about him every fucking day, mate. To be honest with you.
And to be fair, he is sat actually looking at me with a fucking fag on at the minute. He's on me fucking wall.
Holding his long barrel rifle down by his waist.
Yeah, that's the one.
I know it well.
Yeah. He's got his fag on. He's in the shedio, living the dream.
Nice. Where he should be.
But yeah.
Look, you know, things are going in the right direction, I think, aren't they? Even though the suicide rates are fucking sky high, I think things are going in the right direction.
I think, well, from what I don't know if it's because of the sort of veteran companies that I'm sort of surrounded by now and things like that, that I see a lot more talking about breaking the stigma and things like that, which I think is only going to work in the favor of the servicemen and women at the minute as well. There are obviously mental resilience trainers now within the army and what have you. There's the company that I've spoken to on the show that are trying to get in amongst it, which is Inner Armour, which are brilliant.
Nice.
I've done the course, the actual Inner Armour coaching, which I think, if I'm honest, mate, if we had it when we were serving, I think a lot of things may be different. But that's fucking not possible. I couldn't think of a better way to say that. It's just not possible. But yeah. But on let's try and get out of this.
We've gone a bit.
We went a bit fucking down there, didn't we? We went a bit fucking emotion.
Hey,
totes emotion.
I mean, listen. At the end of the day, me and you have learned from those experiences. I know it's I know it's you know, and also we fucking knew those blokes, and that's the thing. I think, you know, regardless of the sad sad ending and the fucking turmoil. It's, you know, I feel really thankful now, and I hope that doesn't sound too fucking sappy, but I just feel fucking thankful to have known the bloke and to have worked with him and served with him and spent the time that I did spend with him. And it's made me much more fucking aware now of people around me and the things that they're going through, and
exactly,
the kind of position
how
they're in emotionally,
and how everybody is different as well.
Because
and how, talking to the likes of like side talking to him, he was just fucking just a nice bloke, and he was like, because it was my missus that told me, like, because she's in comms with his ex missus. Yeah. And she told me, and I was like, "What, Si?" She was like, "Yeah." I was like, "No, not having it." I remember I had to pull over I was working for Loomis at the time. I had to pull over my fucking wagon. Yeah. Have a man minute. And then I had to address the situation and let a few of the other lads know, like Chrissy Dunn and Shipper and the others that are down here that I'm in comms with. But yeah, mate, it's shit sandwich, yeah. So what have you got planned then in your little lockdown? Try and get off this emotional fucking
all good
emotional train.
Well, I'm still working. One day a week. The thing I struggled with a lot, not necessarily during lockdown, because to be honest with you, lockdown and the whole corona thing generally, I think, hasn't really affected my mental health massively, and I hope nobody takes offense to that because they've struggled. I'm not saying it's because it's not difficult, but luckily I've just kind of generally managed to keep myself kind of on the kind of level. But I need like stuff to do. I don't know, you're probably the same as me, I'd imagine. I need direction, and I need little goals to achieve. I need stuff, I need some kind of purpose. So I just made myself a little list of things to do.
A little list of goals that you're gonna
list of goals through. My phys is coming on leaps and bounds. I went through a period when I got out of relative inactivity, shall we say. So fucking fat and unfit, basically. I went to Australia, and the fucking food over there is fantastic, and they fucking love their beer. So that's basically what I did for 2 years.
Win-win, innit?
But then obviously I came back home and realised that I couldn't fucking go up the stairs without.
Couldn't tie your shoes up.
Ass. No. So that's coming on. So I'm obviously focusing on that, which is a massive help to a lot of people. I think that
have, as we mentioned,
psychologically, exactly. So that's good. That's good for me. I'm learning Spanish. I've just decided I've been fucking talking about learning language for ages, and I just haven't done anything about it. So I thought, fuck it, One of my good friends is Argentinian. She's a fucking legend, bless her, and she tutors people. So I'm going to have a little lesson over Zoom with her, I think, once a week, hopefully, fingers crossed.
Oh, happy days, mate. Living the dream.
They're doing that, and then just little bits and bobs. Just little bits and bobs around the house and stuff related to work that I can do from home. Nothing major exciting. I've actually, nothing major, mate. Nothing major.
That's good. I need to, after almost being unable to fit in this fucking little man jacket, Fizz has got to go on my priority. Like during the first lockdown, I was doing all right. I was like going out for runs with me weighted vest and things like that. I was all right, and then I just got fucking lazy. I rolled my ankle a couple of times, which people who know me and serve with me, I've got the weakest ankles in fucking NATO. There was actually quite a funny story, actually. So I was doing Murph, when they were doing the big Murph thing during the first lockdown, and I was like, fuck it, I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna fucking do it. I'm gonna fucking go out. I'm gonna do it. On my way back in from my first fucking mile, I tripped over a pothole. So I rolled my ankle on the pothole. As I was going down, the plate carrier fucking smashed me in the nose. Fucking did a probably the greatest commando roll ever. Managed to get back onto my feet. One of my neighbours came out and was like, "Are you all right?" And I'm like, "Yeah." Fucking hobbled off. And then I was like, "Fuck that, not doing that again." But
not easy, mate. It's not easy.
I found that because I'm now 33 with the body age of a 93-year-old, I think.
Yeah,
I go out for
like
one run and my knees and ankles are like, are you kidding, Tommo? You're rotund. Stop running. So I might just load up the Bergen and just do some loaded marches, I think.
Yeah, just some longer distance walks or something. That'll do the trick.
Yeah, because
I've got cod liver oil I've been taking, which makes me sound obviously like a fucking.
Oh yeah, I do use shout out to Infusion CBD, but I do use CBD oil, which I did a Tabata workout the other day, and I was doing bicep curls with these 2 weighted bars I got. They're not even heavy, mate. Not even heavy. But I was doing that many reps with them. Fucking the last 4 days, I felt like I've ripped tendons in my fucking arm. I'm like, what? My missus is like, what's the matter with you? I'm like, it hurts. But yeah.
Body's going, what the fuck are you doing?
Yeah, body's like, are you still serving? No.
Just a knock on. It's like that afterburner.
Knock on effect, mate. Knock on effect. But
so apart from that, what else have you got? What else in the pipeline? What's in the pipeline for Granite Zero? That's what I want to know, because obviously
Granite Zero, mate.
Obviously, I'm a fan.
A few more of these. Few more. Nah, but to be fair, I will be doing this. It's one of my favorite things to do. Obviously, is my passion. So I'm trying to get as many guests on as I can without my missus going, "Why are you spending so much time in the shed?"
Yes.
But it's going up, mate. I'm getting a few more. I'm in comms with a few decent guests. In the pipeline, like Tamir Hussein from Layer Cake and the business.
Yeah, I know.
His fucking agent. If you're fucking listening, stop fucking me about. Because I bet she said he will do it, and I said, what days can he do? Because I will work around him, which I think is pretty. And he was like, oh, what about this? And it's like, okay, here's my dates that I'm off. These are the better dates that I can do it, because I can do it any time. Other than that, any day after 6:30, all yours. Nothing. It's like, stop being annoying. And then I'll send her another one in a couple of days' time, and she'll go, oh, yeah, he'll definitely do it. Well, just give me a fucking date then. The other one that I've got lined up, potentially waiting to hear back from his booking agent. Oh, these fucking agents are annoying. And that is the soldier dad of Marcus Luttrell.
Oh, no shit.
The lone survivor.
Yeah, that's exciting.
So, yeah, a few of those. I am semi in contact with Johnny Mercer as well.
Yeah, quality.
So we'll see what. Again, it has to go through his fucking PR people. Standard. And a couple of other MMA fucking fighters potentially. Nathaniel Wood, who is a British prospect. In fact, his nickname is the Prospect. He fights out of Brad Pickett's camp, so obviously I've gotten in there because I've had Brad Pickett on. But yeah, a few more of those. I'll probably get Little Brown, my brother, on again.
Yeah.
When this lockdown is semi-sorted, Chrissy Dunn's going to come into the shedio.
Beautiful. How is he?
Oh, he's all right, mate. Chrissy Dunn, he's fucking funny, isn't he? But yeah.
I haven't spoken to Chris in, well, I don't know how long.
He's just had his.
Obviously, I follow him, so I see kind of roughly what he's up to and stuff.
Oh, he cracks me up, mate. But he's just had his he had a deviated septum, so he's just had that. He's just had that all fixed. And I went, "Is your nose fixed now?" And he went, "No, I think they fucked it up, mate."
Worse.
Yeah, it's worse if anything. But yeah.
I'm talking of. I don't know if this is the right platform for this. On the theme of MMA fighters or UFC fighters, a mate of mine is I don't know if you've seen him, a guy called Andy Manzano.
I haven't, but do tell more.
Google him. But if you like, I might be able to. We'll chat once this is done or whatever. But I could give him because he's an Estonian guy who's based now in Southampton, but he fights on Bellator.
I haven't had any Bellatorians yet. That's a lie. I had Liz Carmouche.
But yeah, he's good bloke, interesting bloke.
Sweet.
So maybe
I'll give him a look-see, mate. I'll give him a look-see.
It's nice to see, like, obviously the links that you put up and stuff where other podcasts are spreading the word. So it's nice to see, like, I remember a couple of weeks ago you put something up about the H-Hour podcast and how there was a little mention.
Yeah, he's a good bloke, Hugh. And I thought he was going to give me some shit because obviously he's 3-para, and I thought I was going to get some shit from him. But he's a fucking good bloke. We keep missing each other. We're supposed to do a collaboration podcast when I go home to Hereford because he lives not too far away from Hereford, and he goes to HR4K quite a lot for a brew and a chat with the lads in there. He's like, oh, when you're next down, we'll meet up. And every time it's like, oh, mate, I'm busy. It's like, of course you are. Of course you are. You just want to be shown up by a fucking Ali Reg guy.
But it's fucking quality to see, mate. Not to blow smoke too much, but yeah, it's fucking good to see. Like, obviously, you're doing your thing and you're making tracks and getting more.
It's getting there.
Stuff.
It's getting there. Like I keep saying, it started as me talking shit to myself for 45 minutes in a work vehicle. To be fair, my shed is coming on quite nicely. It's lovely in here now. I love it. I'm going to start watching. I've got a couple of little heaters. I've got one of those fucking. It's supposed to be on a wall in a house, one of those fireplaces with the lights. Yeah. If I plug that in though, I think my extension lead is going to blow up. So I'm like, I'd rather not burn down the shedio. And
no.
And all I've been putting everything in frames, so it's starting to look fucking pretty decent in here.
Yeah, I've been thinking about doing the same thing. I've been a bit reluctant to for whatever reason. I just, but yeah.
Got lockdown, mate.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Oh, you've been doing them yourself? You've just been like a DIY
Yeah,
job?
I've been acquiring frames. I'm not going to say where from. And then I keep finding photos. Like, it's like, I don't remember printing these out, but I've got them. And then I've just been sticking them in frames. And then the one I've just done today is that one there. So basically I've got my regiment buckle at the top right.
Yeah, nice.
Top left. Bottom right is the buckle that I had when I got married. Then I got the green regiment and the 15 patch and the desert one. And then my 2 ISAF medals because I can't use them. So 2, mate, because I'm Ali.
It's funny, yeah. That's an interesting little point about the old ISAF medals because I've spent my wife's Australian.
Yeah.
So I've spent the last couple of years in Australia, and I've been wearing mine because the Aussies wear them.
Let's do it.
So I thought, well, fuck it, I'll just wear mine then.
Yours will look all right though, because then it makes it look better, doesn't it? Because you would have had a single swinger otherwise, wouldn't you?
Exactly. Yeah.
You can't all have a rack, you know.
It's a weird. Yeah. It's a weird one because it's
technically I should have 3 ISAF medals, but they didn't give us our rack ones for some reason.
Oh.
There's a story for you.
The Aussies wear them, mate. Yeah, the Aussies wear everything. So
I don't see. I've always thought about putting one on because I'm like, well, I've been to Afghan twice, so why can't I?
Yeah. Yeah, it's a tough one, isn't it? It's one of those, isn't it? It's whatever people want to do. If you're a civvy, if you're out, you fucking do whatever the fuck you want. You don't have to fucking conform to British.
I'm not on fucking parade, am I? So,
no, just do what you want.
I asked Dan Shipper where he put his. His is on his Christmas tree. It's part of his Christmas decks.
Yeah, I like it. Yeah, I like it. Yeah,
right, mate. Good one. As much as I could fucking keep chatting for hours and hours, I think I'm going to get a text in a minute from my missus saying your fucking roast dinner's getting cold.
Fair one.
So I'm going to love you and leave you with that amazing epic tash. And you're welcome on any time, Joe. Honest.
No, it's an absolute pleasure. I've been watching from afar, obviously, for as long as you've been doing it, thinking, fucking hell, that's fucking mega. I'd love to fucking sit and chat in there. It's the same shame, you know, maybe I don't
to be fair, you were the first one to pop up and say, yeah, I'll do it. So I was like, yeah, fucking right. I had a few others afterwards. I had a Navy bloke and a few others. I can't remember what regiments they are. I don't really care. But yeah, as soon as the fucking RAF Reg guy says, yeah, then he's fucking on. You know what
Well,
I'm
I'm
saying?
fucking honoured, mate. Thank you very much for having me. It's
No
been
problem,
a pleasure.
mate. And I'll catch you in a bit.
Bottom. All right, mate.
Boom.
Take it easy.
And you, mate. Stay safe.